My greetings to everyone and welcome to my presentation. First of all, let me thank all the viewers for watching my live lecture. Let me introduce myself. I am M. Ganeshnath from TTWREIS Chimanpalli in Nizamabad. Guys, we all love stories, right? Why don't we start our session with the story? So, let me tell you a short story. One day, two brothers, Ganesh and Vignesh, were roaming in a garden. While roaming, Vignesh kept staring at his brother and asked, "Brother, directly or indirectly, we get food from the plants, right? And where do the plants get food from?" Ganesh replied, "Yes, brother, absolutely right. Directly or indirectly, we are dependent on plants for food. And plants has a specific sense organ called roots, which help the plant to find the nearest water source and suck the water and store the water and produce food. In this way, roots help the plant to collect the food materials and all the essential components for making food and storing of food and sharing the food to the whole body of the plant." Do you clear your doubt? Yes guys, have you got my point? Yeah, today we are going to discuss about the root and its modifications. In our day-to-day life, we obviously watch roots, right? Now, let me tell you what we are going to discuss today. I want to show you the index. First one, we are going to learn what is the root, what are the functions of the root, what is the role of root in plants. Next, how many type of root systems are there and what are they? And lastly, root modifications. How many types of root modifications and why they are modified and what are the different modified actions. Some of them are, firstly, storage roots, then stilt roots, and then prop roots, then pneumatophores, epiphytic roots, parasitic roots, nodular roots, and finally photosynthetic roots. So, shall we get into our topic? Right. First of all, what is root? The elongation of radicle into deep soil which consists root system. In other words, we can say the secondary part of the plant is also called root system. The primary actions of roots are anchorage, storage, absorption, conduction, and vegetative propagation. Today we are going to learn about all these 5 aspects. Let's move on to 3 types of root systems. In our earlier classes, we have studied about taproot system and fibrous root system, right? Let me introduce you a new root system called adventitious root system. Let's start with taproot system. What is taproot system? The radicle elongates into the soil and covering the surface with number of root hairs. We can take the example as the carrot. Carrot is a taproot which has only a mother root elongate in the deep soil which has root hairs, short root hairs surrounded on the surface. The mother root gives anchorage to the plant and the root hairs help the plant to collect the food and all the essential materials from the soil. Yes guys, now let us move on to fibrous root system. Fibrous root system is the radicle elongate in the deep soil, the mother root is short length and covered with all the number of roots, the secondary roots around it. We can take the example as paddy. Yeah, you can observe here, there is no mother root here, we cannot find any mother root here. All the roots are covered with the secondary roots and which forms a root hair structure. Yes, isn't it? We can see a root hair structure here, don't we? Yeah, they elongate from the radicle of the plant here. Yes, you can find the radicle, they are elongating from the radicle of the plant. These are short in length when we compare to taproot system. Is that clear guys? The next one, adventitious root system. Adventitious root system is And until now we have discussed the taproot and fibrous root. They elongate from radicals and the nodes and internodes, but the adventitious roots are unique. They don't elongate from any internode or any node, and they don't elongate from any radical. They elongate from other parts such as branches, leaves, etc. We can take example as this, the branch of a banyan tree. Assume that this is a branch and these elongate from the branch of the tree and goes deep into the soil and give support to the plant, and this is an example for adventitious root. Is that clear, guys? Until now we came across three types of root systems. What are they? Taproot system, fibrous root system, and adventitious root system. Is that clear, guys? Okay. Now let us find what are the modifications of roots. First thing, what is modification and why should they modify? Modification is having a permanent morphological change in the body of the plant is known as modification. They modify themselves to make convenience to the surroundings of the plant, such as maybe fertility, maybe availability of oxygen, maybe scarcity of food, whatever it may be. As I said in the beginning, the plant has 5 things. What are they? Storage, anchorage, vegetative propagation, conduction, and absorption. When we talk about the storage roots, these are concentrated morely on storage. These roots are, example, we can take a carrot and a radish and a sweet potato here. We can find a beetroot, a carrot, and a sweet potato and a radish. These roots are modified for the only purpose of storage. When the root hairs collect all the food materials from the surroundings, these storage roots store food materials and become swollen. And these roots are swollen because they store carbohydrates in their body. Not only carrot, we can also take radish here. The radish does the same thing. Even the radish collects food and keeps stored in its body and becomes swollen. We can also take example as a sweet potato here. Can you see, guys, all these examples are swollen, isn't it? They are all swollen, and the characteristics are the nodes and internodes are absent. We cannot find any nodes and internodes here. Can you see any nodes and internodes? No, you cannot. But we can find root hairs here. Yes, you can see here the root hairs. You can see the root hairs, isn't it? Yeah, root hairs. There are no nodes and internodes, but the root hairs are present. And these are modified taproots. These are modified taproots. We only know taproot, fibrous root, and adventitious root. This modification comes under taproot. And the medical uses of the storage roots are carrot and radish and beetroot helps us in increasing of metabolism, enhancement of skin tone, and beetroot is enriched in providing blood in our body and etc. And we can also see carrots are used in manufacturing of face washes, soaps, and any other beauty creams, etc. Is that clear, guys? Now let's move on to stilt roots. The stilt roots are modified taproot. The stilt roots elongate from the nodes and internodes of the body. Yeah, you can see here. They elongate from the nodes and internodes of the body and give an additional support to the plant. In rural areas, we can see a scarcity of water. The most water could not be found. So these roots elongate away from the body of the plant and collect food materials and water for the plant and supplies to the whole body of the plant. These roots are mainly supported in anchorage. As I said in the beginning, the 5 aspects, stilt roots are morely concentrated on anchorage, giving anchorage support to the plant. They give additional support and keep strong away from domestic animals and any wind and etc. So that a stilt root can give additional support to the plant and keep it strong. They are shorter in length and they form tent-like structure. Have you seen any tent? Yeah, they play the role of ropes in the tent. Have you seen? The ropes are tied to the tent and give a physical shape to the tent. In the same way, the stilt roots give a physical shape to the maize, sugarcane, etc. Is that clear, guys? Now let's move on to prop roots. The prop roots, as I said, these are modified adventitious roots. Look at this. This is the root which elongates from the branch of the banyan tree. Elongate from the banyan tree, and they grow upward. They grow down to the soil. Actually, the roots are positively geotropic, positively hydrotropic, and negatively phototropic. It means positively geotropic. They grow under the soil. We can see that we can assume this as a tree, and the root is assume that this is the surface of the tree. We can find the roots under the soil, and we can find the whole plant on the surface. This is called positively geotropic. And the next one, positively hydrotropic. It means the root hairs elongate nearest to the water source. They find the water source in their locality. And third one, negatively phototropic. It means the roots do not expose themselves to the sunlight or to the atmosphere, whatever it may be. But when we talk about prop roots, they are opposite. They are positively phototropic. They expose themselves to the sunlight or the atmosphere. And prop roots are also called pillar roots because they give an additional support to the banyan tree, forming a pillar-like shape. Friends, here the confusing point is stilt roots are also modified for giving an anchorage, and prop roots are also modified to give an anchorage. But the difference is, in stilt roots we can find the nodes, they elongate from the nodes, and the roots are shorter and very thin. But when we talk about these prop roots and this banyan tree, these are long in size. They are long in size and pillar shaped. They grow very thick. Have you ever came across a banyan tree? Yeah, the pillars are formed like pillars. They are very thick in size, thick in shape, and long in size. As we are all BPC students, we have to know that in Kolkata Botanical Garden there is a banyan tree which lies there from since 200 years, which has more than 900 prop roots. The advantage is, even when the main stem is dead, these prop roots gives life to the plant, to the banyan tree, so that it can survive for a long time. Have you ever visited Pillar Murray? Yes, go and find out the prop root examples there, and you can see whatever I said here. Is that clear, guys? Now let's move on to pneumatophores. Pneumatophores are also called respiratory roots. These respiratory roots are found in swampy and marshy areas like mangroves. And as I said in the beginning, these are also negatively geotropic. It means they don't grow under the soil. What I said, positively geotropic, they grow under the soil. But these pneumatophores are negatively geotropic. They grow upwards in the soil, and they are positively phototropic. It means they expose themselves to the light. The reason is marshy areas. What I said, marshy areas like mangroves, because in marshy areas the amount of salt in water is too high. It makes the gaseous exchange tough for the plant. So the plant itself modified its roots to come from upwards to the vertically upwards from the surface, so that these pneumatophores consist cork-like shapes which has called lenticles, which support the plant to exchange gas like carbon dioxide and oxygen, so that these respiratory roots are modified for respiration process in pneumatophores. Generally we know that roots has only 5 duties. In 5 duties there is no respiration. But in pneumatophores, this is a unique root system which has modified itself to give respiration process also. Is that clear, guys? Shall we move to next slide? Yes. Epiphytic and velamen root. These are very rare, guys. I said these are very rare. We cannot find a live example for this. Luckily I have got this. This is a unique plant because let me tell you something. Where we can find a root or a plant, maybe under the ground or on the surface of the ground. But these are unique because there is no need to pour water for this plant. These are modified adventitious root, and the speciality is they absorb moisture from the atmosphere itself, from the atmosphere. When these are they stick to an host plant and they suck the water and absorb moisture from the atmosphere. When it rains or when there is cold and the humidity is filled in the atmosphere, this plant absorbs moisture from them. There are two types of roots in it. The clinging roots. The clinging roots are helped for Vanda to get attached to the host plant like this, to attach to the host plant, and the epiphytic roots, like here you can see here, the epiphytic roots are modified to absorb moisture from atmosphere. We cannot find such plants in our localities, it is very rare, but an advanced and unique plant among all these modifications. Is that clear, guys? Yeah. Parasitic roots. First of all, what is a parasite? Parasite means a plant or an organism or whatever it may be, depending on some other plant or some other organism or some other thing for its own survival, like for the food or for the water, for whatever it may be, depending on another thing, on a host thing for its own survival. When we talk about parasitic or hostorial roots, these are also called sucker roots because they suck the water and all the minerals from the plant itself and continue its survival. There are two types of parasitic roots. They are complete parasite and partial parasite. The partial parasite only absorb water from the host plant, but when we talk about the complete parasite, it absorbs all the water and all the minerals from the host plant and make the host plant die. And then obviously complete parasite find another host and do the same process and the host plant again dies. Yes, guys, let us move on to another slide. Nodular roots. The swelling developed by the roots are known as nodulated roots. All the plants of leguminous family have nodulated roots. The nodulated roots contains rhizobium bacteria which helps for the nitrogen fixation. Farmers don't need any artificial farmers like chemical fertilizers for the balancing of nitrogen. This rhizobium bacteria does the nitrogen fixation for the farmers. Rhizobium is a friendly bacteria for the farmers, and we can find these nodulated roots in groundnut, etc. Is that clear, guys? Let us move on to next slide. Photosynthetic root. Yeah, these are modified adventitious roots, guys. These are the most unique roots. These are green in color. We know that chlorophyll is contained in plants in leaves and perform photosynthesis, but in photosynthetic root, the root itself contains green in color, it contains chlorophyll and perform photosynthesis. There is no leaves, there is no stem, there is nothing found, only a root, a green root containing chlorophyll. It does photosynthesis and prepare food for itself. We cannot find any other parts, and only a root which was stuck to another host plant and make food for itself and continue its survival. We can find this in aquatic areas and very dense forests, not in such localities here. Is that clear, guys? And this brings me to the end of my presentation. Until now, we came across the definition of root, the modifications of root such as storage roots. Storage roots store food. The storage roots store food for the plant, and then we store that storage root in our storage tanks, right? Yeah, example, carrot roots. Carrot roots are so yummy, that's why we store these carrot roots in our tummy. Yeah. Prop roots gives and external support to the plant. And then stilt roots. Stilt roots are also gives a physical structure to the plants. And then photosynthetic roots. Photosynthetic roots gives does photosynthesis process and prepare food. And nodular roots. Nodular roots contains rhizobium bacteria and does nitrogen fixation in atmosphere. And then velamen roots. Velamen roots are absorb moisture from the air and continues its survival. And then respiratory roots. We should be on a altitude. And finally, I would like to thank Telangana government and the whole staff of TSAT and our beloved secretary and our RCO sir Sampath Kumar sir, our principal Jilani sir, and our mentor Vasant sir, and my special thanks to Suresh Anna from Miralaguda, and signing off. Happy learning. Thank you.